What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone out there listening? This is the Audio Inc. podcast. And today we're here with a very special guest, Eric Johnson. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. And then we have the voice, the man behind the curtain, Oz, the Oz of this podcast.
If that's what
Producer
you
Joe.
Oh, my God.
There we go.
That's it. You're the Oz.
Show your face. Yes, the Oz. But we eventually we knew what the Oz looked like.
Right.
Well, I guess I'll pull the curtain out eventually.
You didn't come up with a really cool name for me.
Well, you're usually the one that comes up with
Pookie,
that
play
name.
that bass, Jones.
They play that bass, Jones. All right.
That doesn't suck. It's too long for a bumper sticker, though.
Put that shit on that bumper sticker. Yeah. People be pissed off.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, who did this?
They'll be following you to try to see what it says on the bumper sticker.
Sorry, I ran into the back of you. I was trying to read your bumper sticker.
Yeah, the fine print at the bottom.
Objects may appear closer.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, man. What a week. What a week. What a week. What's going on with you today, Joe?
Man, same shit, different day.
You say that every week.
That's my blanket answer for that question all the time. Same shit, different day.
Same shit. Eric,
It
you believe
sucked.
this
I
guy?
couldn't live like that. It's
Right?
like Groundhog.
Something different's got to happen,
I
bro.
know. Make
Just
something
call me
different
Bill
happen.
Murray, man.
Yeah. Go to a different Quit Trip or something. Maybe
Come
something will happen.
on, man. Come on, man. Shit. Well, we were talking about basses before this all started.
Do you think the audience would like to hear about that stuff?
I think we just go for it, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
This is a show for musicians, not just by musicians.
I've bought a lot of your gear
Yeah.
in music stores.
Nice.
Like I know all about him, man. It's kind of weird because like I'll go into a Guitar Center or something. I think I bought your 412 cabinet one time, an Aguilar cab of some sort.
You might
I
have.
know it was like an Aguilar pedal. I know I've bought your Aguilar pedals.
Yeah, I sold those. Yeah, I had to sell those. And then you know what's so funny about that? I tell myself I'm not going to sell shit
Yeah.
because I sell it.
Yeah.
And then a year later,
Yeah.
I go buy it again.
I was wondering why you sold that stuff. Actually, I'm
I
serious.
sold all that shit and it was like, ah, fuck, man. I missed that pedal. I missed those pedals. I sold my whole pedal board of all my pedals because I got, for a short time period, I was endorsed with EBS for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I bought all EBS pedals and I just replaced everything.
Yeah.
But then it was when we were on the road and
Yeah.
the money wasn't coming in like we thought it was.
Yeah.
And I was a little tight and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to sell
Yeah.
this shit. And then I sold it. And then,
I think a lot of people that watch this show, they are musicians.
Yeah.
It's not that they just dig music. It's like these guys that watch this show are musicians.
Yeah.
So they can relate to the. As a matter of fact, if you go to Guitar Center and you ask, not now, maybe, because I'll tell you what, Guitar Center, they're like hiring their kids.
Right.
They don't know anything about music. But in the old days when they did, I would go in there and I this is a true story. You had some kind of an Aguilar Octaver or a drive, whatever it
Yep.
was, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's the cat from Cabos." I go, "Oh no shit," and he knew more stuff about you than I did.
Oh, that's funny.
He was telling me about your cabinets that you were using. Oh yeah, you traded this thing in. Blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, then there was a day when Guitar Center actually did know things,
right?
You know what I mean?
Well,
And could help you out.
there was a time where I was with David Eaton. You remember David Eaton shit?
I've blown up many of those heads.
That's exactly what happened to me. I was endorsed with David Eaton, had a full rig, and I split my signal. So I do a dirty side and a clean side. So I run 2 heads, 2 amps,
Yeah.
or 2 cabs. And I guess while we were on Crewfest 2 with, it was us, Rev Theory, Shram on the side stage.
Yeah.
And of course, Motley Crue and all those guys were on the main stage. And I probably went through 7 or 8 of those in a 5-month time period. Like one literally caught fire.
It's because you were trying to use a Chevy to run a race.
Yes, yes.
It's not what you do.
Right.
There's that head is notorious for sounding stupid good, but for rock dudes, you'll blow them up. They're great in a church for R&B bands.
Oh my God! I still have both of them.
Yeah.
The one that caught fire, I
Yeah.
still have.
Yeah.
So basically, I had 2 rigs out with me and 1 rig in the shop. So I own 3 bass heads
Yeah.
of theirs, and so one was constantly at a shop, and I had 2
Yeah.
that would play, and then one would go out.
Yeah.
Typically, right when they'd send me another one, and I'd replace it. It sucked.
Yeah.
Because I loved.
Yeah.
I mean, their tone is the shit. The
Yeah.
closest thing I got to their tone is Aguilar. And the funny thing is how I found out about Aguilar was Matt Nevesky from Blue October. He's a buddy of ours. And we were talking one night after a gig we played with him. I think we were in Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were in Illinois. And this is actually before I got my deal with Spectre. I got endorsed with Lakeland.
Yeah.
You ever played Lakeland bass?
I love it. Yeah, I got 2 of them.
So do I.
Yeah.
I still have. They were fantastic, man, and I loved them. And I met his daughter, and I didn't meet him. I met his daughter, got the deal with them, and everything else. And I was talking to Matt about, because he was like, "I really dig your tone, man."
Yeah.
He said, "How are those Edens working out for you?" And I was like, "Dude."
Yeah.
I'm going through them like crazy. And he's like, "Dude, I had the same problem, and that's why I had to switch. I switched to Aguilar. Did you like my tone?" I was like, "Yeah, your tone's fucking sweet."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Here's a number. Give this guy a call." Gave me Dave Avenius's number.
Wow.
And so
Right to the top.
Yeah. So I called Dave, and
Yeah.
we talked and chatted, and he was like, "We'd love to have you aboard."
Yeah.
And
right
so-
before he sold the Korg, right? Yeah.
So I was with them, and they sold. When did they sell? They sold Korg 2 years ago.
Not too long ago,
or
yeah.
a year ago. 2 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I want to say I was endorsed with them in 2009, end of 2009.
Yeah. That's the good branch.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the DB751
Yeah, I have 2 of those at the house
Yeah.
still. It's funny.
and a hernia. Because they're heavy.
Well, I switched to their Tonehammer 700s.
Yeah.
So I have 2 of those. I have 2 of their 800 solid states, and I have 2 500s, and I have like of their SL cabs, super
Yeah.
light cabs. I have like 15 of them.
Do you like them?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
And they're great for my back.
Yes.
I mean, they are so light.
Yeah.
It's and that's what I use. I'll get to that because I'll tell you how I got some of that shit in Guitar Center because I went through a bunch of shit. So they gave me a deal, and I can't say what it was, but their stuff's really expensive anyway. So
Yeah.
I still had to come up with some money.
Yeah.
So I had all this David Eden shit.
Yeah.
So I sold it all.
Yeah. Did you by chance sell it to Fazio's over there on Manchester Road?
I think they got a couple of mine.
I had one and I blew it up. It was
I think there.
true
and
story.
I think I sent. I think I sold it at like 3 places. I can't remember for sure. And then I had the Aguilar stuff, and I got the 2 refrigerator cabs that
Yeah.
are basically I have a 810 cab and a 412 cab
Yeah.
still sitting in my dining room.
Yeah.
In touring cases because.
Yeah.
All my other shit's downstairs in storage, but I can't get that shit downstairs because it's too fucking heavy.
You know what's so funny is they go, well, so when I was touring way back in the day, they basically they said here's an Ampeg from 1972. It was a Blue Line. It was amazing sounding. I was like, oh my god. He said, well, hold on. You gotta be real careful because these amps are really fragile. You gotta be careful, man. And I go, okay, I'll be careful. And then he goes, as a matter of fact, this thing's so fragile. Let's go get you a Trace Elliott. And they gave me a Trace Elliott, a GP 1200. Within a month, the thing fried. Oh, and they put the Ampeg back on my thing because it was the backup.
Right.
And I go, okay. And so the next one I got was an SWR 900. I don't know if you remember those.
Yeah.
Super loud, solid state, punchy, boom. Still going through the same 810 cabinet. Within probably 6 months, I couldn't get any volume out anymore. It puts the Ampeg back over there. The Ampeg, which they say gets all tubes, real fragile, 1972, has been the least fragile amp I've ever owned in my life. The only problem is you need a semi-tractor trailer to carry that damn thing around.
100%.
But it's the best thing ever. Which leads to my next question. Now, I'm sure you're in-ears on stage, right?
Yep.
Do you need the cabs anymore? This is I wake up every morning. I say my prayers, I brush my teeth, and I say, do I need a rig on stage anymore? That's literally the order, because I'm a gear whore. I follow people like you around, and I say, what's he using? Okay, I want that too. Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm done. I'm going all Geddy Lee.
100%. So you know Ben Mower, don't you?
Yeah.
He doesn't use a rig.
No one does.
And his shit,
Yeah.
Ben's always been a guy that, technically is a guy that I always admire, because he is one of the cleanest guys on the cover scene, in my opinion. When I was on the cover scene, I would go see other bands, and I always liked a little grit,
Yeah.
a little dirt.
Yeah.
But he was a purist. His tone was like,
Glass.
crystal clear.
Yeah.
And very articulate. And he didn't like to use a fax. He was one of those guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think he liked the tone he got out of a direct.
Right.
But nowadays they have all those amp
Yeah.
simulations.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about it?
100%. I've been thinking about it a lot.
I tell you what, last night, when our little gig that we played, I had this amazing tone going on in my ears. It was great. And I usually have my back speakers on to get a little bit of that wind movement.
Sure.
And I turned around last night, it was off. The amp wasn't on. And I was thinking to myself, is that seal the deal for me? Do I just say screw it and I put on a washer and dryer like Geddy Lee used to do and say this is a joke? Is that something and is it because of people like us? We knew how cool it was back in the 90s that these Gen Z guys are never going to understand.
Right. Well, the funny thing is I'm friends with the guys from The Discrepancies. They're a band here in St. Louis, and Addison was in a band with me at one point. And they used what I have. So I have a pedal board that has it's a computer basically that has all the amp sims. And he says, dude, we don't take amps when we tour. We take that, and both guitar player and drummer, or guitar player and bass player plug in, because you could split your signal. So that's what they tour with.
I can't figure that out.
They take their guitars, their in-ears, and this.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's how everybody's touring now. I don't take amps out, which it's smart, and it makes 100% sense.
I know a lot of the festival backlines now have no amps. It's all plugging into either an Axe FX or the Quad Cortex, if you know what that crap is.
That's what I have. I have a Quad Cortex.
Quad Cortex, yeah. And so they say you can go up there, program whatever it is you want, or they give you like a standard thing. They hand you a pack, an in-ear pack, and then they say you bring your own earbuds, and that's it. That's all you get now. Because the stages move that fast now.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I'd be in 100%.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why, I don't know, did you ever buy I sold a bunch of Mark bass stuff too.
I did.
Okay, so
yeah.
What happened was I got tired of hauling that shit around, those big refrigerator cabinets.
Yeah.
In fact, when we came off of tour, our warehouse where our tour manager had his shit was in Valley Park, and I can't think of the name of the company, but he was Coda Music at the time.
Yeah.
And we kept our stuff in his part of that warehouse. Well, he needed it to get it out of his warehouse.
Yeah.
And he had to deliver it in a truck because I couldn't fit it in. I have a F-150 Super Crew.
Yeah.
Both my cabs won't fit in the back of it.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
And it was like, so he had to have it delivered basically. He showed up and they had a big truck and a lower and I took it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this shit's in my house now. I'm never going to fucking take this out. I need a new rig.
Yeah.
And Aguilar didn't have the SL super light cabs yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need to find something light. And Mark Bass.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, oh, Mark Bass is the new thing. And they're kind of light.
Yeah.
And so I went and checked out Mark Bass and dug it and bought 2 410 cabs and a whole Mark Bass rig. And I was like, okay, I'll use this.
Yeah.
But I didn't like the tone.
No.
I couldn't push it.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We back in the day, you had ceramic drivers and everything, and you had tubes in your heads, and it sounded amazing.
Right.
And then some old dude, probably from the Rolling Stones, because he couldn't lift his crap no more, said, I need light.
Yeah.
But the trade-off is tone.
Right. 100%. It was 100%. And like Mark Bass is a good amp, but not for what I like. And so I called Dave and was talking to him.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'll get some smaller cab. He's like, we're coming up with this new line of SL cabs.
Yeah.
And they're super light, but they still punch and this and that. So I ordered a bunch of that stuff. So then, of course, I had to sell the Mark Bass shit. So I took it back up there and was like,
So are you putting your rigs together now for a tour? Is that what you're kind of doing right now?
No. We're not. I don't think we're going to ever tour again.
Really? That was my second to last question.
Well, the last big tour we did, our crew guys made more money than we did.
Well, yeah.
Because,
That's
I'm
being
too
an
old.
entrepreneur.
I'm too old to be in a van.
Yeah.
I can't tour in a van. It's
Right.
got to be a bus.
Right.
Buses, when we were touring, were $30,000 a month. Now
Yeah.
they're probably 40.
Yeah.
And crew guys ain't going to go out for less than $1,500 a week.
Yeah.
Where are we going to
I'm
make?
telling you what,
where
this
are we
is-
going to make money?
This is fascinating. This is fascinating because you guys were big, and the hit that you guys had, the couple hits that you guys had, you were on the opening bill on a few tours at least, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how many would you say you guys were out at?
I mean,
for just consistent.
we toured from the end of 2008, or maybe the beginning of 2008 till the end of 2013, beginning 2014. We were out the entire time. I mean, like the first 2 or 3 years, we were home for like maybe 70 days each year. I mean, we were constantly out touring.
And it's so weird because that was we have a lot in common.
I knew that when I booked that.
when I kind of got into it, so I was coming from hair band stuff, 1989 to 91, somewhere in there. And I joined a band, started touring, and I was still in that hair band mode. Still in the, all of a sudden, here comes grunge. Boom. You guys were like, it was like the record industry was all radio. Remember when it was radio that would push you?
Yep.
There's no radio anymore.
100%.
And it's all this Spotify, Apple
Podcast.
Music,
Well,
podcasting.
yeah.
And it's the new, and you have to, my opinion, you have to love that before you even start writing a song. Don't you think?
I think you have to love music
Do-
because you're not going to make, like I tell people all the time, these new kids that are starting out, don't get into a band because you think you're going to be rich and famous, because you're not.
Right.
Like you're not. Like when getting a record deal nowadays is like winning 2 lotteries.
Yeah.
But to be successful is like winning 6. Like,
Did you start in music to win, to become a rock star for the money? Did you do that?
when I originally started, I would say
Really?
in the 90s, yeah.
So what was it that attracted you to music?
Def Leppard's my favorite band.
Okay.
I mean, hands down, my favorite band in
Right.
the world is Def Leppard. My sister got me into it when I was a little kid, and I just loved Def Leppard. So I grew up as a little kid watching MTV.
Okay.
Back when it was like you would turn on MTV and it played music videos all day long.
Yeah.
And so I really got a love for music.
Right.
But I thought that, hey, you know what? If I can get a record deal, all my, I'm
home
there.
free.
I'm home
Yeah.
free. And I was in a band called Plain Jane from St. Louis, and we actually in the 90s had label interest, and we went on a tour for 9 months called the Sweatfest Tour with Valentine Saloon and Stoneheart, I think. Not Steelheart, Stoneheart.
Right.
They were a band out of Atlanta, Georgia. And it was funny because we went 9 months on this tour. Our drummer was still in high school. We just graduated. So we would only go out on weekends. We would pick him up from school because his mom let him do co-op. So we would pick him up at like noon.
Yeah.
And we would go hit the road and play and meet those guys and play our first tour.
Yeah.
Our play show. And we would play through Sunday.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of times we'd be pulling in at like 6 o'clock Monday morning, and he'd be walking in and have to take a shower and go to school. And,
Yeah.
and it was great. And we thought we were going to get a deal, and then grunge hit. And it was like the label that was interested in us was gone.
Yeah.
You know,
It's how it happened to
100%.
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of bands in St. Louis that happened to.
Yeah.
King of the Hill.
Yeah.
Was definitely one of them. Maybe even Pale Divine. I don't know if you remember Pale Divine.
Pale
or not.
Divine. Yeah, 100%.
You know, it was like they were kind of grunge. I thought if anybody's going to make it, it's going to be Pale Divine.
But it's great watching Forters play in Guns N' Roses now.
It is, but you know what? That becomes a different discussion altogether. It goes from being a songwriter to being a hired gun.
Yeah.
Which is better? You know, in some ways, being a hired gun is better in this industry because you're not going to make the gazillion dollars off of publishing,
Right.
but you're going to be Rudy Sarzo and tour with all kinds of bands and have fun doing
When
it.
you're as good as he is, yeah, you can go pretty much write
Yeah.
your own ticket.
Yeah.
Y-
It's a weird thing. It's like you can't, and I've always been like, you can't go to college for this because the variables of success are so wide.
Oh, 100%. Like,
Yeah, it's like if you want to get into it, hell, you could be in any you could literally go be in a national right now. I mean, have you ever think about that for a second? It's like if you want to just give up on the songwriting portion of being in the band, the baby that you formed, you could literally go to LA or Nashville right now and be a session guy / touring support guy, or you could be the biggest cover band in your city. Or you could try to write music and try to understand Apple Music and all that publishing stuff that's going on now. But it's like, isn't it weird to think about? You can't just go to become accounting school and become an accountant.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the funny thing is, you're right. The variables of being successful are so wide nowadays. Like,
And subjective.
yeah, when we got our deal with Warner Reprise, what was it? LimeWire and all the thieving shit was going on.
Yeah.
So when our song "Champagne" went number one, we had only sold 70,000 records.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and
Wow.
our A&R guy, Andy Oliphant. You know Tim Oliphant, the actor.
Yeah.
his brother was our A&R.
Okay. You're
And-
kidding.
Yeah, no, it was
That's
fucking cool.
hilarious.
So he came out when we went number one, and our song went number one the week we were here with Crew Fest.
Yeah.
We played it at Crew Fest was here at the Riverport, and our song went number one that week.
Yeah.
It was great. It was
Yeah.
like all the things aligned. And so as kids, we're thinking to ourselves, we're like, this is it. Like,
Yeah.
like everything.
And it was.
Everything is lining up the way it should. We
Yeah.
were number one when
Yeah.
we were playing our show in St. Louis.
Yeah.
This is epic. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to be great. And he showed up, and our A&R rep came in for that. And Kim Poole, who's the rep here in St. Louis at the time for
Yeah.
Warner Brothers. And they were so excited that, we had the cake and all this other stuff. And like me, I'm thinking, oh shit, dude, like this is great. We're going to get a platinum record.
Yeah.
Thanks, this and that.
Yeah.
Fuck no, dude.
Yeah.
They got us cake and they were like, this is great. Congratulations. And Andy was like, well, you want to hear the good news or the bad news? And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, let's hear the bad news.
Yeah.
Because we're like, what the fucking bad news? What the
Yeah.
fuck's going on? And he was like, well, you guys. Well, he said, I'm sorry. He said, I'll give you the good news first, is what he said. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, you guys are the first band in 9 years to have a number one hit off of their debut record and a debut single.
Yeah.
The band to do that before you was Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh, damn. Okay.
He says, so congratulations.
Yeah.
Now for the bad news. Mm-hmm. He said, bad news is when they did it, they had gone double platinum
On that day.
on that day.
Jeez.
You guys have sold 70-something thousand records.
Yeah.
And we were like, what?
Yeah.
How is that possible? And he's
Yeah.
like, well, for anybody that buys your record, there's 20 to 30 people who stole it.
That's true.
And we're like, oh.
Yeah.
And they really, honest to God, I was just talking about this last week or the week before last. They didn't figure out streaming and how to register it until 2015
Yeah.
when we had left the touring scene, you
Yeah.
know? And
Yeah.
then we didn't release a record. We released a record in 2016, Bridges. But, we had to rebuild because we weren't on a label at the time.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, we got to do this ourselves. And we didn't know how to get things onto Spotify. We didn't know how to
Right.
get things on Apple Music. And it was like, okay, so how do we do this?
Yeah.
How do we do that? How do we do this?
Yeah.
Dude, it was just like,
And it's frustrating. It takes the love out of it for you, doesn't it?
it was like Lemony Snicket's
Yeah.
series of unfortunate events
Yeah.
for Cavo. It was just like,
Yeah.
But the one thing, I developed a love for music early on. So like when I first thought I was going to get a deal back in the early 90s when I was a little kid, I was like, oh, I'm going to get a deal.
Yeah.
That's going to be it.
Yeah.
But I genuinely started to love, because I played guitar first and then
Mm-hmm.
I started playing bass.
Yeah.
And so I really started to really love playing bass guitar and really got into it and then developed this love of music to the point of all my old members of all the bands always quit and I kept going.
Yeah.
Like I have not been in a band since 1990
Yeah. Wow.
because I was like, I love music.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had relationships because
Yeah.
I choose music.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just, I love music. Music is my thing. And I tell that to people all the time, you know, these kids who think that, you know, they're going to get a deal and they're going to be rich. And I go, do it because you love it.
I think kids these days, they don't do it because they, when I backed up, I wasn't totally into music. I was more into football. I was like, I want to just be a football. And then all of a sudden, I was on my way on a bus as a small child, probably 12 years old. And all of a sudden, Casey, in their infinite wisdom, puts on Eddie Van Halen playing Eruption. And I was like, what in the F is this? And I was like, and then I started exploring or listening to it like every minute I could. And then I started listening to Trower. Then I started feeling music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I have to do this. And then I started doing it just because I loved it.
Right.
Right. I didn't try to record anything. And then I got in a few bands here in St. Louis, and all of a sudden we got booked at this place called Stages.
Yes. Yes. I played there.
And and it was like, what in the heck did I get in? And I just got out of high school, and I go, what is this? It was like a small arena.
Yeah.
You'd be there on a Wednesday night when it'd be Nichols night, and me and Kelly from Trixie Delight and Hennig and Bob Taylor, we would walk up there, and all of a sudden you would play Black Cat, and it was like you might as well have been the Who. You know?
Yeah.
And so then I loved music, and I came up from a totally different perspective of loving music. These days, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that the Gen Z, the younger ones, the 18-year-old, 24s, the ones that could push the music, I think they look at it as a video game. I think that they look at it like, I can buy a guitar, I can learn the guitar from YouTube, right? I can basically do a music video with my iPhone. I can edit it with CAPTCHA. And now don't you kind of feel like, not that there's anything even wrong with it, to be honest with you, but it's just a different thing.
I mean, I kind of agree, but I kind of feel like the kids nowadays, the ones that really get into music,
Yeah.
they're better than we were.
Oh, by far.
Because
by far.
Everything is available to them.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to learn something, I had to go find someone to teach me. I couldn't go to a computer and watch someone play it slow or slow it down. Do you remember how you used to take your cassette and you would kind of push it halfway down for it to go slow so you could figure out a lick?
Or you would put your thumb on the thing and try, what was that again?
Yeah. Or you'd stretch it by, like I said, you'd not push it down all the way. You would halfway through it and it would slow it down.
Yes.
You'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nowadays, they can just go and get an app and it slows it down and it takes the drums and takes the guitar out.
Yeah. It doesn't even slow it down. It's this guy that can say, here's the notes that you write. It's like a guitar lesson right in front of you just by going to YouTube.
Yeah, somebody put a tutorial out on that.
But that's what I'm saying. It's more like a video game. It's like learning how to play Rock Band.
It's like music is now a disposable Bic light.
And I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. The days of Zeppelin going into a castle, creating masterpieces are over. Which is a shame.
Well,
it is a shame.
It is a shame how music is done. But like when you recorded music back in the day, like I recorded with Ben Monroe here at Chapel Studios with Mind Over Soul. And I remember doing bass parts and I had to play the song.
Yep.
And I had to play it correctly.
2-inch Studer.
100%. 100%. I had to play it correctly. And if I was off, he'd be like, nope. Nope. He'd stop it. Nope. Do it again.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you know, everything's thrown to a grid. Like I did all of our records with David Bendeth. He threw it to a grid.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter how well I played it.
Yeah.
It was thrown to a grid.
Yeah.
And it was just like.
But see, I almost think that's okay because even the old producers from the 60s did stuff crazy like that too.
Dude, I'll be honest with you though. If you listen to all the stuff we've released since, it's not thrown to a grid. Like since Bridges on, the feel is there's more of a feel to it because you know we did Bridges with Matt Nevesky down in Austin, and then everything else we've recorded we've done at Sawhorse Studios with Jason McIntyre.
Yeah,
not thrown to a grid.
Yeah.
There's feel. There's a feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a natural pulse.
Yeah.
Like the way music used to be done back in the day.
Yeah.
And I think it just feels better. Like the first two records, Bright Nights, Dark Days, and Thick as Thieves, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And that perfect can kind of sometimes kill that vibe, that groove, that, you know, which is why I'm talking to the guys about maybe next year we go to Sawhorse, rent it out for like a month and record a record, go in with nothing.
What do you think the pushback's going to be on that? Nothing?
I think they'll be down.
That's intimidating, though.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's intimidating.
It's because we've never done it where you walk in with no, because like typically what happens when we write, I don't know how you guys usually do it, but I'll have song ideas. Chris has song ideas. Casey has song ideas. Andy will have some ideas, and we go in and we throw ideas around and try to write.
Yeah.
I want to walk in with nothing.
Wow.
Nothing. We walk in and we start writing.
Do it. That would be a great album.
Only because it reminds me of what Incubus did when they did Morning View, which is one of my favorite records of theirs. They rented a place, they went in, and they just started writing.
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice, is get away from Pro Tools, right?
Yeah.
Get a recorder. Maybe, you know what? I think you're onto something, because I always thought, now it's a shame that Eddie's dead, but I always thought, how cool would it have been before Eddie died to go back into that studio that they did Van Halen 1 in, use all of Eddie's old gear, the old Marshalls, none of the new stuff, right? None of the old MXR flangers that he used to use. And then his brother would go in there with the old Ludwigs or whatever he played. Michael Anthony would come back. I think that people are hungry.
100%.
I know that EDM is big, and I know that this 7-string death music is big, and I get it, I understand, but I think people are hungry for real human to human communication of music again. I do. I might be wrong. Maybe kids' brains have morphed and they don't want to hear because to be honest with you, it is the younger generation's opportunity to say, this is what we're going to give you.
Right.
As far as music goes.
Well, but the funny thing is for these younger kids, music's disposable.
Yes. Yeah. Just like you said. Exactly.
But for the 30 on up to 70, they still consume music.
They do.
And they listen to music more faithfully.
Yeah.
And they come to your shows more faithfully than these younger kids.
Yeah.
So there is an audience out there dying for what they know.
Yeah.
And it was one of the reasons why Cabo, we're not touring, but we're still a band. We've been releasing records since.
Yeah.
We've released 2 records and 2 EPs, and we're on our 3rd and 4th EP, and we're planning on doing 5 and 6 next year.
Yeah.
And then a full record if I can get the guys to agree to it.
Yeah.
Because we genuinely love to be a band and to write. Now, playing shows is difficult because our drummer's in Nashville and he's out with bands and he's recording and he's a DJ. He's on the radio. I mean, Andy Heron is a busy dude. Like, he goes out with the Gin Blossoms and he'll go out with that great American Canyon band. And then, he's on the radio and then he does session work. And it's like, Jesus Christ. Bro. Like, hey, can you come in this month? What's available? Oh, this month's going to be tough. It's like, fuck. But he's busy.
You guys were part of that St. Louis clique of MASH STL. And Stir. And then you guys, that was really that era.
I wasn't a part of it. I joined in 2006, the end. So like Casey and Scotty were really good friends, and Casey and Andy were really good friends. In fact, Andy from Stir, when we were in California taking pictures for the record, he came to hang out. And that
I got him his first band.
Oh, did you? Right.
It was a band called China White, and it was it was the singer of me, the old singer of Contagious. God, what was his name? I can't remember his name. But he was this little kid. He looked like Randy Rhoads.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I said, you want to be in a band? I don't know.
Well, that's the first time I met Andy. So it was kind of cool because I'd known the band. I mean, they were huge in the 90s. And that was the first time I actually got to meet him and stuff. But
What are you thinking about it? That genre of music, that it lends itself. It does lend itself to having like a lot of bands like Meshes Tell You guys and Stir and all those guys, the point bands.
Green Wheel.
Yeah. What is it that lends itself to bands that they just don't blow up enough to become big, like a Foo Fighters? It's
Well, I mean, but you got Story of the Year. Story of the Year.
Yeah, but
Story of the Year is killing it, dude. They're right now playing venues larger than the Pageant. And they just came off tour again. The resurgence of emo music, whatever that thing, came back for a while.
Yeah.
And they capitalized on it. They released 2 records, and their records are fucking amazing. Their latest record, if you haven't heard it, please listen to it.
Is that because of the producers they signed themselves with, or is it the full team of graphic design? What do you think it is?
Dude, those guys are just really talented, and hands down, them and The Urge are the best shows of original music in St. Louis.
Yeah.
They and I'm a huge, like, Sinister Dane's one of my favorite bands from St. Louis.
Yeah.
I used to go see the Thugs back in the day. You remember those guys with Cubby and Leon and them. If I were to pick favorite shows, bands, like when they do a show, it's The Urge and Story of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, their show is so unbelievably great, and the talent in that band is so unbelievable. I mean, they are one of the best bands out of St. Louis, hands down.
Don't you think that? Again, I kind of watched St. Louis from afar. I didn't live here, but I'm from here, and I go, Steve. I remember the Urge broke up. Oh, that sucks, man. Because
I was bummed.
I know the whole Mississippi Nights thing. Because I used to come into Mississippi Nights, get a beer, and watch The Urge, and have my beer fall all over the bar because people were bumping against me all night long. But I go, oh, that kind of sucks. But don't you think that Steve came back because of just so many people were hungry for it again? And he's like, well, damn, if you guys still want it, here, I'm back. Don't you think that was...
I mean, I don't know. We had him on the podcast. I guess I did. We should have asked that question. I have no idea why.
Why a band breaks up in the first place.
I mean, honestly,
years later.
honestly, I want to say that it's because he had a genuine love for it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, all those guys in that band are great.
Yeah.
And they're great dudes. Like, they're amazing cats. Just like the Story of the Year guys. Yes, sir.
He never really stopped, though. Like, he always did, like, his, solo acoustic stuff, and then he paired up, I think, with one of the other musicians. I forget who. But then they did a duo, and, like, he's never stopped, even after they broke up and everything.
Well, I would love to
for
talk
a time,
to him.
though, he was out in California.
Oh, okay.
So he was doing songwriting stuff out there. But... I mean, I think he is a musician's musician. Like you're right. He did the duo thing. He came back and he kept playing, and he's a hustler.
Yeah.
But I mean, those guys in The Urge, Story of the Year and The Urge, hands down, in my opinion, are just two of the most amazing bands. And to watch them live, they still do the shit they did when they were kids.
Yeah.
And you just go, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can look at
it's such. I'm so happy you brought that up. Do you feel like you did when you were 22 playing
Fuck
it?
no.
You don't?
No, dude. I'm old and I'm slower. I used to just run around, like, even when I was in Gargoyle Rain. Like, I came from a funk band, a hip hop band, not hip hop, but an R&B band. We danced on stage, and then I got to Gargoyle Rain, and I constantly moved, which was why I had never lost my gig. I was like entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And then I got into Cabo, and when we started, I was running and jumping and doing shit. And then slowly but surely, because we played so much, that I started to hurt, started to hurt my leg and knee. And now, like, I'm in the Santana tribute band, and I move a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think to myself, just this big, fat, slow moving toad on the side of the stage, and I need to be fucking running around,
Yeah.
And it's like I go, okay, I'm gonna go do this, and then I go do it, and then I flub, and I go, Jesus Christ, I used to be able to fucking roll, like I would roll with my shit, and I can't do that
Wait,
shit.
how old's Steve from The Urge?
I think he's got to be in his 50s.
He's in
right?
his 50s.
Yeah, and we're about the same age, and so he's maybe a few years older than us.
Yeah.
So I've got video footage of him. I recorded them on the day after Thanksgiving, their show that they normally do. And I've got footage of him rolling on stage, like doing, like jumping out in the crowd surfing, all the way to the back. I don't know how he does it, man.
Yeah. It's not so much Steve that is impressive to me. It's the fact that the other 50 to 60-year-olds in the crowd are doing the same stuff that they did at the Earth shows back in the 90s and the 80s. Yeah. That's what's so impressive. To me, I feel when I get on stage, I blur the lines that I'm 55 years old. And I still feel like I don't know why, but I still feel like that kid that would go on stage at Mississippi Nights or at the old stages or Granny's Rock. I don't know how I don't separate the two. Like, oh man, my freaking back is killing me. I just get up there and I just feel the same for some reason.
That's awesome.
And I keep waiting for that day to go, oh, there it is.
I don't know when it hit me, but
that's the sign.
I don't know when it hit me, but it did. I used to just shit. I used to just bounce.
Yeah.
And now I walk.
Wheelchair.
Yeah. I'm just like, shit.
Yeah.
And then it's,
what about Seven Dust? Those guys.
oh my
man.
God.
I mean, what are they, 90? I mean, they're not young kids anymore.
right.
Still badass.
And you know what? It's funny you talked about that because me and Chris from Cabo, my guitar player, we talked about that. The last show we played, we banged, we got into it and, we do our thing.
Yeah.
And then the next day we were like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like I got whiplash. What the fuck happened?
Did we get in a car accident?
What the hell? And then realize,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not show ready.
Yeah.
Like it takes, like when we toured,
Yeah.
if we really thought about it, we were out for so long
Yeah.
that your body gets used to constant movement.
It's like a callus.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
then
road
when
callus.
you stop
Yeah.
and then you go do a show and you do the shit again, your body's like, it's like working out again.
Yes, dude.
And then like that 2 days later, you're like, I can't move my arms.
Yeah. Listen to me, guys. He's telling the truth. If I left PRL, if PRL said, you know what, we've been doing this a long time, we're taking a 6-month break, no one would come back because we couldn't. I'm telling you right now, the road calluses would have worn off. We would try to do the show one more time and we would all faint.
Rigor mortis would set in a little bit.
But a lot of those bands, like the bands that are doing like the stadium still, like the Police, well, they're U2, Def Leppard to some extent, Motley Crue. These are guys that weren't banging their heads for the most part. Yeah, I mean, Crue was a little bit, but I saw Crue back in '90. Those guys kind of just stood there and did what they did.
Yeah.
Loud, very loud.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
relied on Tommy Lee.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Tommy Lee's the only one who plays.
Right.
Yeah, it might be. But John 5, I'm sure he's playing some stuff right now. But I think that those bands, they have, what makes a band, this is the question of the day that I got to ask you. What makes a band today, let's say today, we call today from 2010 till right now, this goes to the comment line too. What band do you know that will be doing stadiums 25 years from now? Like, don't use the Foo Fighters. They don't count.
Shinedown.
Is Shinedown?
Shinedown's our Beatles.
You think so?
I will stand on a mountain and scream it,
said
and
that,
I will
yeah.
fight anybody who.
That's his.
From the time they came out in 2000,
yeah.
they've consistently had #1 hits and toured
So they're the Bon Jovi.
nonstop. They're better than Bon Jovi.
But remember when Bon Jovi's "Slippery When Wet" came out, and you were like, "Come on, man,
Dude, you gotta give them. I mean, think about Shinedown, and a lot of people go Shinedown.
Yeah,
If you heard their songs, their catalog,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh yeah, that's Shinedown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Shinedown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Shinedown. Oh yeah, that's Shinedown. Oh yeah, that's Shinedown.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Shinedown. Oh, and then you go, those were all #1 hits, fucker.
I understand what you're saying, but to me, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, they kind of slip into that category of, I'm not totally sure if that's the Gem Blossoms or who they are. I know the song, and I'm sure they're multi-trillionaires, but when I hear a U2, I'm going, that's U2.
Yeah, but you're from a
You know what I'm- I know.
you're from the '90s era. Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
They are in my opinion,
I agree with you.
Shinedown is our U2. They're
Yeah.
our Beatles. They're our the most. They've had the most number ones in rock history.
Yeah. But are they like a Skynyrd? You see what I'm saying? Skynyrd can literally play any stadium arena that they want until they're dead, and they're all dying, by the way.
Absolutely,
But
they will be that band.
but the AC/DC,
They're still in their
AC/DC.
Yeah, yeah.
You're never going to see AC/DC
True.
at a pageant.
Now
True,
what about
but-
Nickelback?
Fucking
Nickel. What he said.
horrible example. If you look at China, and it's not because I love the guys and we toured with them and I know them.
Right.
It's just me being as bluntly honest as I can. They're still in their prime.
True.
I mean-
and they're a hit writing machine.
100%.
Yeah.
They are still in their prime. So for us to say in 20 years, we don't know because they're still in their prime.
Yeah.
Like they're going to do another record.
Yeah.
That record hopefully is just as successful as all the
Yeah.
other ones.
Yeah.
Then it starts over because you
Yeah.
can't go, well, in 20 years, will they?
Yeah.
They're still in their prime. Like they're the most played band
Yeah.
in rock.
I guess a Slipknot could be put in there. I think a Slipknot 25 years from now might be how it was, but those are bands with stage production. What's the German band that has all the fire? Rammstein. They'll be able to do it until they're dead
Yeah.
because they tapped into something.
Yeah.
But I it's
That's kind of like a cover or a tribute, but it's like their own cover or tribute band, if in so many words. Well, I guess that's kind of like Gwar too.
Gwar. Yeah.
Yeah, Gwar.
Yeah,
They
but
put
Gwar
their
is-
stage performance is the show,
Gwar's going to play at Pops.
right?
I'm talking about what bands, U2 played at Mississippi Nights. The Police played at Mississippi Nights. They came out of nothing.
Right.
They grew. and then
Metallica played at Mississippi.
Mississippi Nights, exactly. And bands like that grew, became organic, and just boom,
A Shinedown.
Shinedown. So, okay, that's good.
We toured with Shinedown in 2009, and we were playing venues pageant size and some a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Now they're playing.
Everybody comes up through those ranks. It's
yeah.
weird. It's strange. And which brings up the science of being a multimillionaire. It's almost like, okay, here it is. You guys had that hit, and it was a good one. And it was Kill. I mean, that was like one of my favorite songs I hear on Casey or whatever it was. I kind of feel like that, okay, we have this hit, guys. You have to keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
That hit is still a hit, and all of a sudden you have this other song over here that's a hit, which has that terminal velocity till it gets to a point where the engines finally spool up
Sure.
and they're running at full strength.
Yeah. Well, again,
And that might be one of the suggestions you give a band. It's like, make sure you have 3 or 4 hits, make one happen, and then keep them going.
the funny thing is we didn't get signed because of Champagne. We got
Really?
signed because of Let It Go.
Wow.
So when we got our deal,
Who shopped that for you guys? Was that Gherkin?
Gherkin and Joe.
Okay. Yeah.
When we were sending our shit out, because Tommy Mattern,
Yeah.
well, Tom and Jeff played Champagne, and people started to request it.
Yeah.
And we got that done because Scotty knew Tom and Jeff really well.
Yeah.
And so they played it for us, and then people started requesting it.
Yeah.
Tommy heard it. Tommy Mattern heard it and started playing it up in Chicago, I think, or something like that.
The Loop.
And then he told some of his other people about
Mm-hmm.
it and sent it to them, and then they started playing it. So we were in like 13 different markets, and
Did you guys, were they reporting you?
yeah, we started to get reported, but we weren't signed. Mm-hmm. And
Wow,
so
that's how- it's cool.
That's how the label started to hear us.
Yeah.
So somehow Warner Brothers reached out, or somehow we got connected with them,
Mm-hmm.
and they were asking for our songs. So we sent them Champagne and a couple of songs, and
Yeah.
they're like, "These are good. What else you got?" We sent them another group of like 5 songs.
Yeah.
These are good. What you got? Send them another group of 5 songs. These are good. What else you got?
Yeah.
And then we sent them one that had Let It Go in it, and
Yeah.
they heard Let It Go, and they said, "We want to sign this band." And then that's when all the other labels found out.
Yeah.
And then next, you know, we were doing showcases.
Yeah.
But it was because we had Let It Go in the mix, and that was our crossover smash.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, let's do something with this band." You
Yeah.
know, and then a lot of people don't realize it, but here in St. Louis, Jill Litvag, very smart manager of ours, he said, I don't care about you guys playing shows. You guys need to write music,
Yeah.
write. So we were, all these other bands here in St. Louis were playing all these shows. Cabo played like 1 or 2 shows a year.
Wow.
We sat in my basement and wrote that record.
Yeah.
And we wrote 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 and
Yeah.
we didn't stop writing.
Yeah. How many songs did you guys put together?
Oh, Jesus Christ. For that first record, I don't know, probably 30. But when we did Thick as Thieves, everybody was telling us we needed to write a rock record because Cabo's not a rock band. We're a rock band, but we have a softer side of things as well.
Yeah.
We wrote so many songs that didn't even get a consideration because it wasn't rock enough.
See, you pigeonholed yourself.
100%. Everybody wanted to hear Champagne 2.0.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's funny because
But the thing about it is I think that's okay because when you listen to Offspring, they all sound like Offspring songs. I matter of fact, I just went to their concert. I was like, oh my God, this is one long song.
well, see, that's
They all
I love
sound
all.
like
Yeah,
it
the
too.
Offspring.
that's the one thing that I can say the reason why we're still doing what we do because we love it because we create something new. If you listen to every single one of our records, none of them sound the same, but they still sound like Cabo.
I was going to ask you about that.
Everything sounds different. If you listen to
Is that good or bad?
it can be very bad
Because
it was bad for us. But when I told you about the series of unfortunate events with
Yeah.
us, while we were on our first record, the president of Warner Brothers, Tom Wally, got fired. We were his pet project.
Oh boy.
So we were fucked.
Yeah.
So like it was so much work being done on Cabo, and then when he got fired, the work stopped.
Yeah. Because that's a labor of love for the
Yeah.
guys. And they pick their ponies.
And then Rob Cavallo came in, and we listened to our lawyer, who said, "Oh, you guys are screwed now."
Yeah.
because he's not gonna. You're the past president's pet project. He's
Yeah.
not gonna want to do. We didn't even give Rob Cavallo a chance.
yeah.
We were being poisoned by our lawyer.
Yeah.
And we listened to his dumbass. And what we should have done is just sat back
Yeah.
and said, let's see what happens.
Take the guy to the rainbow and see if he will.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Warner Brothers got bought.
yeah.
So their assets were frozen. So we were in hiatus. And technically, our contract was null and void because they were supposed to give us money for our next record. But
Yeah.
everything was frozen, so they couldn't.
Yeah.
So they breached the contract, and we were signed to like a 5-record deal with them, but
Yeah.
they breached their contract. So our lawyer was like, we can walk away.
Yeah.
We need to walk away.
Yeah.
You're the old regime's fucking pet project. This
Yeah.
guy's not going to do anything. And we can walk away, and trust me, we got labels. We're ready to, we got labels, and we did. We had label interest as soon as we walked away. You know
Right.
what those motherfuckers said?
What?
What you got? Where are your songs?
Yeah.
We'd been on the road. We hadn't written shit.
Yeah.
So we
Back to
fucked
the basement.
We fucked no, dude. We literally fucked ourselves because we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
It was like all these labels were like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, we're interested in Cabo. Send us your shit."
Yeah.
and we're like, "We're still on the road.
Yeah.
We don't have anything."
Yeah. Jeez, that's
And it was like disappear.
Yeah, yeah.
It just all started to disappear because we didn't have shit.
Yeah.
So then we immediately, had to try to start getting a deal, and we wound up signing a deal with 11-7. Horrible.
Yeah.
Alan Kovac is a dickhead.
Yeah.
We signed a deal with those guys, and probably the worst decision we made in our entire lives.
Yeah. Do you think that phase 2 of your band, and I'm going to follow you guys now like it's going out of style because I'm so interested in this stuff about bands and music and the young kids and you guys and how you say, that old industry it's like we don't use cassettes anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I can't go and be excited about doing a record contract because my label's going to do cassettes for me. They're gone.
Yeah.
So now you have to go, oh, I got to do this digital world now. Are you guys going to sit down around a round table, write notes, and say, how can we participate in this?
Well, I mean, what we have done is, so that's the great thing about my band. Every record we've done is different. If you listen to Painful Art of Letting Go, Bright Nights, Dark Days was the one we got the record deal on. Thick as Thieves, Bridges, Under Bridges, Bridges, Bright Nights, and Thieves, and all of our EPs that we've released.
Yeah.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
And we decided on Bridges. We decided because the label 11-7 was like, not rock enough, not rock enough, not rock. I mean, we wrote some really good fucking songs. And
Yeah.
they were like, nope, not rock enough. Nope,
Yeah.
not. And so we had to pick the heavier songs. So like a lot of good songs didn't make the record because they just weren't heavy enough.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the best songs got picked. The heavier songs got picked.
Yeah.
Which the record did okay.
So someone was pushing you down that heavy road.
Yes, our label.
Yeah.
And
It was a heavier time back then. That was like the thing.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. The misconception of Cabo, though, everybody thought, because we say the word cocaine in a band, that we were these rock partiers. It's a breakup song. It's Champagne's a fucking breakup song. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't Cavo back in the crazy bitch days?
Yeah, but that's not who we.
They wanted. I know, but that's what that's
if you
what
listen,
labels wanted.
if you listen to Painful Art of Letting Go, it's more like Matchbox 20. I joined after that. I'm a heavier head. I'm a Seven Dust guy.
Yeah.
I was into Seven Dust.
Yeah.
And I brought a heavier edge to the band.
Yeah.
But we were still not a rockin'
Yeah.
head. I mean, listen to the first record. Listen to Bright Nights, Dark Days.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Champagne, but everything else in it is moderately tempoed.
Yeah.
Not overly heavy, but really deep, thoughtful music. Our second record kind of divulged a little bit of the rock side and got rid of some of that stuff. But when we wrote with Matt Nevesky for Bridges, we said, we're just going to write a shit ton of songs. I think we went into there with 50, 60 songs.
Yeah. And
then like 30 song ideas.
Right.
And we narrowed it down with him. We sent him all the songs. We just demoed them on a computer.
Yeah.
Sent him the demos of the songs, and he picked the ones that he thought. And then we went down there for pre-pro, and then we worked through the songs and finite that list down to like 11 or 12 songs.
Yeah.
And we recorded it. And it was the most freeing, like to this day, I think Matt Nevesky kept this band together
Yeah.
because of that experience working with Matt at the Orb Studios in Austin. If anybody can ever record at the Orb Studios in Austin, I would do it.
Yeah.
Matt Nevesky is an amazing producer. But he helped us create. And as a matter of fact, on our record, Thick as Thieves, there's a song called Southern Smile.
Yep.
That's really true to what Cabo really is.
Okay.
And Cato, God rest his soul, he worked with David Bendeth at the House of Loud. He did some of the song. He produced some of the songs with us, and he said, "You guys need to do one song on this record that's just you."
Yes.
And it was Southern Smile.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite song on that record. When I play it, it just reminds, like I remember us working on it while we were in the studio with Cato, and Cato passed away. And it just, every time I hear it, it reminds me of him talking to us and was like, fuck all the other bullshit. You've already done all that shit.
Yeah.
Put something on this. This could be the last song on the record, but it's the one thing of you that's 100% not tainted.
Right.
And we did it. And when I listen to that record, when I hear that song, I remember being in that room with Cato when we were working on that song. And it's the highlight. It was the light of that time frame for me.
Yeah. I always look at like the time period when Butch Vig would have been working with Nirvana and thinking, how am I going to get these guys to sound like anything?
Yeah.
Because Kirk was not going to be told what to do. It was not going to happen. And the same goes for that entire grunge scene for the most part. I'm sure they wanted to be big stars, but it definitely wasn't what was driving those guys. And I think it was like these producers, these labels that would go into Seattle saying, "Hey, you want to be a rock star?" And then, Lane Staley looking at it and going, "Yeah, I guess, whatever."
Yeah. Right.
And then they just kind of put mics up, recorded that whole sound.
And that's the point that we're missing in music is the artistry of it.
Yeah.
And so that's what, to a detriment to Cabo, but we decided after Thick as Thieves, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
And we signed with Pavement, and we re-released Bridges.
Yeah.
And we added a couple of songs, but we just wanted to do it our way. And so now we're signed with the distribution company, In Grooves, and we sign with them, and we just do distribution.
Yeah.
And so all of our shit goes everywhere.
Yeah.
And we have a distribution company that does it. And we get to do whatever the fuck we want. I talked to Denny all the time when we're doing music, and I
Right.
go, "Hey, here's our next single." They don't have a say in what we do.
Yeah.
We record what we want to record because it's an art for us, and so we just do what we want to do.
Yeah, but at some point, the label said this Champagne song, which is rocking. I could see this at a Point Fest, right?
Yeah.
But your other stuff is a little Matchbox 30-ish, and so did you ever feel like they were saying, "Yeah, this Matchbox thing has already been done. Give me more of this Point Fest stuff."
So when Champagne came out, it was funny. Do you know who James Michael is?
No,
He was in 6 a.m. Nikki Sixx's
band. Okay, yeah.
So we recorded some songs with James Michael
Mm-hmm.
in Nashville, and he said it's funny because he's a songwriter and he writes and produces bands.
Yeah.
He was like, after your fucking and it was on the second record. In fact, if you can find it, I don't know if the label pulled it down or not, but Sounds of the Hollow was an EP we did with James Michael, and
Right.
it was to supplement the record. And actually, some people who bought the record got the CD of Sounds of the Hollow.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a special thing for certain people. And it was on Apple Music and Spotify for a short time period.
Yeah.
But he said, everybody came to me and said, I want you to write, we want to write a song like this band.
Yeah.
And it was us. We want to write a Cavo. We want to write a Champagne song. We want to
Yeah.
write a song like this, like this. And he
Yeah.
said, for like a year and a half, that's what everybody wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so I think that the artistry of that song is what made it a hit, not the fact that it was heavy.
I think it was the word.
Champagne or cocaine.
I hate to say it, and I hate to be because I think
absolutely.
I'm not. I don't give a damn what song is popular. I don't care. My favorite songs you've never even heard of, but I do think that for the 22-year-old chick or the 25-year-old dude that hears the word cocaine with a groove like that behind the song,
Right.
is going, what the hell's that? I can sing that all day long in the shower. You know what I mean? And they remember that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And that there's another art of writing a hook that is not easy, and I think that's what that was.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. Like, the funny thing is, that
Eric
song,
Clapton's worst song ever is called "Cocaine."
right?
The worst song Eric Clapton,
And they play that motherfucker.
it's 2 chords. Da-na-na-na.
And you-
I mean, Cracker with Low. That's how they became popular.
yeah,
because
but
their song was
the
about
funny
marijuana.
thing is there were a lot of places that wouldn't play the song because it said cocaine.
Hey,
but
Right.
yet they'd play Eric
price you
Clapton.
pay. Yeah,
They
Well-
would play Eric Clapton, but they wouldn't. MTV wouldn't when that song went number 1. MTV wouldn't play our video because
What?
it said cocaine.
you're kidding
We
me.
actually had to do an edit, and they didn't use it. But it was could have been a champagne. Could have been the way you looked at.
Wow.
We actually had to pay David Bendeth to cut it out.
Well, Alice in Chains buried in my.
Yeah, and the motherfucker still didn't play our fucking number 1 song, and they didn't fucking play the video.
Yeah, the music industry
It's just
sucks
weird. It's just weird, but
so hard.
But when I tell you about this song, Champagne, the melody was something that Casey had in his phone for months. He sang it in his phone, and we were sitting in my basement jamming, and he was like, "You guys got to hear this fucking song. It's it's a fucking joke." So I mean, it's funny. I'm embarrassed to play it, and he played it, and it was the could have been the champagne, could have been. And Chris, our guitar player, started strumming the guitar. And Casey was like, are you playing what I was singing? He was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then me, I'm going, and
see, that came out so organically.
100%.
Just the story of what it's not like. Whenever you say we were into the basement and started writing, I think of like, okay, let's think. What is it? Whereas that is the story of how Sting might have put together every little breath she does,
Right.
and you're like, you mean it was that simple?
100%.
You know what I mean?
And then we wrote "Let It Go" the next time we practiced.
Yeah. It's
almost
the next same week.
it's almost like when you're watching a movie about the Doors or something, and they've got actors in there, and it's showing the writing process and how quick it is. It's like that it didn't happen that way, but
It's one of the most fascinating movies of all time. Is that Beatles movie that they document with the documentary of where they were like writing songs in Abbey Road?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is how this song was made. because we've heard it on the radio for
Right.
forever.
Right.
And we hear them doing Eleanor Rigby or whatever it was that they were doing. And you're like, these are just human beings that are fleshing out chords and writing lyrics over the top. I mean, it makes you think to yourself, these are human beings.
Yeah.
And but it's organic, the organic nature of like I'm just brutally scared to death of AI music.
I'm not worried about it
You're not worried about it? You're not
Man,
worried that some 10-year-old
I'm
kids
with
are
you.
going to love this crap?
because I don't care.
I know, but
I
then
don't give a shit.
Then the music industry's gone.
See, but you think about it.
The music
all these
industry's
years-
already gone.
All
Is
these
it?
years.
100%.
I can't tell yet.
Every note that's been written so far has been written from the feelings of a human.
Yes.
Where do you get that with AI?
That's why I don't care.
It's mimicking.
Are you-
It's
I
like
don't care.
it's like a really good parrot. That's all it is.
I don't
coming.
care. I don't care. I don't care.
I tested it out the other day. I wrote in. I don't remember what AI. It's a web. First of all, you go to a website. You don't download anything. You just go to a
Probably
website.
Bing.
And I put in there. I go John Bonham drum groove with Van Halen guitar tones. Write a song. Yada 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 yada. And I hit generate. Went and got a coffee. Came back and the song didn't suck. I was like, oh my God, I just put Zeppelin and Van Halen together. And it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, but what you said, you saw the Beatles write something.
Yes.
And that's why I was talking to Joe when Kahlo does what I want them
Oh,
to
yeah,
do.
I can't wait.
I want him to come and film it. Mm-hmm. And I want to document the whole fucking thing.
So you guys all walk into this big studio. It's all isolated cabinets. You guys just sit down, start writing.
Yep.
Hit record.
Yep.
And whatever comes out, comes out.
And you got Joe,
I love it.
And you got Joe with a handful of cameras planted around.
I
the
love
place.
it.
Yeah. And what's great is
And you could do like live. That's the other thing. Live streaming as it's going on right then and there. Not canned, but everything is live. You see those guys now?
Yeah.
It's like their entire life is on TikTok or Facebook or something like that.
Right.
You can like literally log on.
Well,
It's
if you
like,
do that, you got to worry about copyright and people.
I don't know.
People stealing your ideas.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. But see, at that point, you're like, we're not doing this for copyright. I mean, that's the new thing. We're not doing this to protect anything. This is organic, and we're just gonna do it.
yeah, I mean, the funny thing is I think the artistry part of it is why I want to do it.
Yeah,
Because if people don't like the record, I don't care.
yeah,
People don't want to watch what we recorded. I have it so
Yeah.
that I can watch it when I'm 70.
Yeah.
Like that's, I have so much memorabilia from when I toured in a thing underneath my steps. I have probably 7, I'm exaggerating here. I'm going to say 300 posters
Yeah.
of Cabo.
Yeah.
From places we played. You know how they'd have like Cabo with Blackstone Cherry
Yeah.
and this and that.
yeah.
After we played, I go, hey, can I have that poster?
Yeah.
And I take it. And I
Yeah,
took it home.
I stole a PRL one from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I felt really guilty for like 2 days. I was like, this is really nice,
Dude, I got so much shit that I took so much shit. I'd
Yeah.
ask, I didn't steal it. I'd ask them, hey, can I have that? And they'd
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
And I just, cause at some point I always thought I always thought I'd have kids and I would be cool
Yeah.
that I could show my kids this shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
that,
definitely.
Hey, I was in this
Definitely.
band. My stepdaughter is 30. She don't give a fuck.
yeah. Do you wonder about that? Think about this for a second. Do you wonder how your kids and your because they're going to see that. They're going to go, hey, come here and see what grandfather did.
I hope so.
Do you think it's going to be the same reaction we might have given our grandfather saying, "Hey, granddad was in a Scott Joplin tribute band back in East St. Louis"?
Let me just tell you this. When
you know
my-
what I'm saying? It's like, so what?
If my daughter has kids,
Yeah,
that kid's going to get some bass guitars, and I'm going to
Yes.
show that kid how to play. I don't
Yes.
care if it's a girl or a female.
A girl or a female? I think he's hoping for a female.
I mean, a girl or a boy,
You know
it
what?
doesn't make a
Gotcha.
difference.
they're going to say, "Where's the
they're-
closest pawn shop?"
No, they wouldn't do that.
my kid would definitely do that.
I would be like, listen, keep this. If you need money, I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
But this is, I want them to,
Yeah.
to be an artist in one way or another.
yeah,
And I just love bass guitar. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you love bass.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. We talk about AI, and I just don't give a shit. I don't. If the music industry art will always be here. There's always going to be songwriters. I mean, like I'm looking at some of these young kids, these bass playing kids that are 21.
That are better than us.
Yes, that do shit that I go.
Yeah. The quad slapping.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounds like a machine gun.
And I go, you probably don't have a girlfriend.
Yeah. Or he has many girlfriends.
And then he goes, and then you see the next video of him, and he's got this hot chick next to him. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
For me to be that good, you had to sit in your room for fucking hours and don't talk to anybody.
But don't you think that, like, you know who Guthrie Govan is? A guitar player. It's an amazing guitar player. I think these guys are products of the guys that we loved, and the guys that my all-time creme de la creme, over the top. If it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't care about music. Is Eddie Van Halen? Yeah. I'm just sorry. That's just my guy. He did it all. He had great rhythm. He played solos from hell. He invented something. He had charisma on stage. He was the all-around real deal.
There was definitely something special about that man.
Absolutely.
But every person, Yngwie Malmsteen included, every guy, and there's guys that make Yngwie look like he doesn't know how to play.
Oh yeah, 100%.
These guys are products of Eddie, and Eddie was a product of Clapton, and Clapton was a product of Muddy Waters, and Muddy Waters was a product of Chopin or whoever. But the thing about it is I feel like we're at this weird crossroads with music. Like, this generation doesn't really know what they want, or they have so much stuff that they just cannot lock into. Do they want the EDM? I can leave the EDM to go to country. I can go to the country and go listen to old Whitesnake. I cannot figure it out.
I think what we're witnessing is everybody was trying to be because music became so easy for these kids nowadays. But I think what we're witnessing is these diamonds in the rough are like the diamonds in the rough from the 50s and the 60s. And I think that there will be a music revolution, and it doesn't make a difference with this. If it's AI and shit, there's going to be artistry that comes out of this, where these kids are going to be 20, 21, 22 playing like Victor Wooten.
But will their understanding of the artistry be the same?
I think so.
Question.
But I think it's going to be the artistry of it. I think you're going to have these kids coming out that are not. It's not like every single kid's going to be this way. It's going to be like it was in the 50s and the 60s, where there were bands out there, but there was only one guy. There was only one Led Zeppelin. There was only one Stones. There was only one. I mean, think about music from the 90s and then the 2000s and then the 2010s. I mean, like, there was 7 bands. 20 bands now that are fucking banging. 80 bands. So many people getting record deals. One song record deals. You know. I think that's all going to go away. And these diamonds that are going to pop out like it did in the 50s and the 60s again. Then it's going to be true artistry, because it's going to be easy for a computer to do it. And people will be like, oh, that's great. It's a great song. Yeah, a computer did it. Oh, that's great. And then you're going to see a kid play it. You're going to be like, whoa, holy fuck. That kid's playing it. Can the guy that did that play? Oh, he can't? But this kid's playing it.
So you're saying that it's going to be more useful in the writing aspect?
No, I'm saying that there's going to be a difference between the people who sit on a computer and do it, that can't perform it live, and then there's going to be kids that can perform it live. And then people are going to go, well, I want to watch the kid play because I want to see someone play the music. I don't want to see someone type it and it's created.
And then that's where you have AI to come up with the video.
That's the thing I was going to get to, is we're living in an era now. See, I kind of think it like this. I wish desperately that I could go back to 1875 and live in a world where it was just horses and carriages, and just where a world there was no cars. And then the first day that Ford comes out with his Model T, his Model T, and the guys, well, the whole planet looked at it and goes, a horseless carriage? What is that? Only to know that in 100 years there were going to be no more horses and carriages. Right. I think that's the era we're living in right now. It's because it's exponentially moving so fast that here's what's coming up. And this is in the next 2 years, they estimate, with these supercomputers. A producer out of Los Angeles is going to be able to prompt a total music score, be able to prompt virtual characters, be able to prompt scenes in a movie and hit enter, and within a day be able to invent a hit movie that doesn't even look animated. That's where they say this is all going.
I've already been thinking about doing it with animation.
Yeah. So now with the music industry, and this is they talk about it like it's common knowledge.
Sure.
They're going to have these hit songs written, and they're going to team them up with these EDM type shows, and that's what's going to be the new thing.
It might be a new thing for a while, but I think the artistry of actually seeing like art,
People.
yeah, the artistry,
The human
of it all,
aspect.
I think that's never going to go away. It may fade, and people may not like when something new pops out and it's shiny. Everybody's going to go, "Oh, that's fucking awesome," and then when people go, "Yeah, that's awesome. That's fucking crazy. Oh wait, yeah, but that's a computer.
Yeah.
Someone typed it in.
Yeah.
But can someone play it?"
Yeah.
And then when you see someone create something on a guitar, like it was in the old days when a bard came into a town and everybody came out to see the bard play.
Yeah.
Because it was like, we don't see that.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going to happen. People are actually going to be like, well, I actually want to see someone write. I want to know that someone did it.
I asked my son that the other day, actually a few months ago, and they went to this thing. Remember when back in the day, we would wait for AC/DC to come to the arena, and it was an experience.
The Checker Dome.
I was there.
I saw my first concert, Metallica.
For those about to rock at the Checker Dome, 19 whatever, and that's what we lived our lives on. Well, these days they like experiences in that stuff too. What they do is they go into the woods and they participate with friends and they listen to music and they consume it differently than we did. Our grandparents consumed food. It was out of a garden.
Yeah.
We consume food. It's out of a cupboard that has preservatives and wrapping around it.
Yeah.
So it's just how you consume the stuff.
Right.
What happens the first day that a album comes out? And like we said, it's a great song that people love, and there was no musicians, there was no singers, there was no nothing on it. Do you think record labels at that point go, well, we got to do it again? It was free, and we just made $2 million.
100%. 100%.
So that's so we were talking today about record labels, how they kind of suck balls because they don't care so much about the bands. They're not here to develop them. They want you to make money for them. That we talk about the communities who absorb music. And if those people who, they might even drop Taylor Swift. If they're like, this song is better than Taylor Swift might become Britney Spears real quick.
Taylor Swift is fucking, she'll start writing her, I mean, she's already writing her own shit. She could stand on her own.
Yeah.
She don't need a fucking label.
No, she doesn't. And I don't think she wants one. It's like she went and re-recorded all of her own songs.
Yeah.
She releases them.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
the artistry of it.
Yeah.
The artistry of what she does.
Yeah.
She writes bangers, dude.
Yeah.
If a computer did that,
Yeah.
right? If an AI person did that, would not garner what Taylor Swift does. Because there's an artistry of what Taylor Swift does.
Right.
So someone might be able to make money and AI might be something with music that is successful, but it's not going to take away from a Taylor Swift or a Shinedown or I think those things will still be there. And I think people want to see, I'm not going to want to go to a concert and watch the Gorillaz with a bunch of fake shit. You know what I mean? Like I want to see people play the instruments.
Just wait till there's a first top hit in the charts that was totally done by AI.
Sure, everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon.
I'm telling you, man.
Isn't that going to be weird,
I
though?
mean, mark the tape. What is this? Is this the 10th of
10th of
March?
Yep.
Mark the tape. We'll come back here in 24 months. Well, no, give it 48 months. We'll come back here in 48 months. We'll see what has happened
In the industry?
And I don't think it's going to be about a Shinedown going tits up, or it's about U2 going away the dodo bird. I think it's about them being displaced. It's like they'll finally they'll go away. We're not getting rid of you, but you'll just kind of fade away. And this new thing, AI, will take over. Because when you have when you have that much density, that's the thing. That's the key. Here's the key word. Back when we were touring, we were one of 200 bands during that time period touring.
Yeah.
Maybe worldwide, 200, 300 bands were on tour. These days, there's tens of thousands.
True.
So that it's the density of the content that you can create with an AI.
Yes.
Here's an album. Here's another album.
Yeah, but see, you get lost in the noise. There's going to be
Yes.
so much shit out there.
Yes.
That what's going to make someone want to go see?
Yeah.
So what's going to make you want to go see a show? I want to see people
It brings
play.
me my next question.
I want to see
And brings
someone.
me my next question.
So are you saying? Oh, yeah, let me get this out. So you're saying that AI, the whole technology, it's going to be like a genre. It's going to be like how disco was popular,
Yes.
and then the next thing to come along was rock, and then metal, and So you're saying that it's just going to be another phase of music.
So AI has no. AI doesn't. It does what you tell it to do. Like I told you before, I was able to get John Bonham's drum groove with Eddie Van Halen's guitar, ish. And
I'm interested to hear what that sounds like.
See, you could go Steely Dan harmonies, which are 7s and 9s and 13s on top of each other, or whatever Fagan and those guys do, mixed with a Britney Spears groove. Right? And it's like it's so bizarre. And so you could just make an entire 12 songs of just that stuff, put it on Spotify or put it on Apple Music. But here's my question to you. So at what point does Cavo go, all right, our songs are kick ass? Do you guys have production meetings like we want to coordinate our light show and our video screen?
No.
And you don't do that? Is that important to you guys at all?
If we were playing more frequently, I think it would.
Remember Pale Divine? They came out on stage. If you don't know this, go look up Pale Divine. Smoke all the frickin' over the place at Kennedy's. You couldn't even see in front of yourself.
Yeah.
This guy named Dave Probst, the lighting director, comes out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 lights, par cans, aimed in very strategic directions. He could put one light on the singer, and it was the most mythical thing you ever saw. And you remember that?
Yeah.
He would have lights coming out from behind the drums, and it was just 8 lights. But it drew you to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I think if Pale Divine didn't have that, they wouldn't have been successful. Do you think that's true?
I mean, it's hard to say. Could be. I don't know.
I think that's where bands miss the mark, is they don't put any time into their visual presentation
I have
of
to
their
agree
stage
with
show.
you.
Well-
If you're paying that money for the ticket or whatever, there should be definitely
Well,
lights
there's
sound.
there's definitely something to be said about that.
Yeah.
But look at the whole grunge movement. It was the exact opposite.
But the grunge movement was about just smashing your guitar, jumping in the crowd, and having almost no production.
Correct. And it was a thing. But what I'm saying is there's a time and a place for everything where things worked. When Cavo, when we were doing our thing, we were considered a post grunge band, just like anybody who came out in the 2007 till 2005 to whatever. We're post grunge. But a lot of our singers' influences were country and grunge.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of production. But near the end of our career, we had a lot of production. But that shit costs money.
It does. But I always think that if that's the one thing, I think that there's a lot of bands that can write a good song. But when you come on stage, how do you demand attention? You know what I mean?
Sure.
I always think the shortest, and I might be totally wrong, but the shortest distance between 2 points is make sure you got a guy that can draw your visuals of the crowds that you're playing for.
Sure.
Right? And that's because there's going to be a lot of bands you're competing with that have great songs, but if you can turn the lights off and all of a sudden you have a laser or there's a pyro or there's something, it makes your stage show awesome enough to go get out of the house.
I don't know if you saw the band Brook Royal.
I did.
You saw what, they spent money and they had a production team of guys or a guy or a team, whatever, and you can rent it. It's at, it's not Coda anymore, whatever they're called. There's a part of that company where you pay them like $5,000.
Yeah.
and then I shouldn't say it's $5,000. I don't know how much it is. You pay them a lump of some money. They come up with a program for you.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, it's like a lot less every show you have after that. So the initial one is for them to put the show together and try to get things lined
I
up.
tell you what, though, Brooke Royal puts on a hell of a show.
100%.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. El Monstero is another example.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Would you go out and spend $40 a ticket every Christmas to see El Monstero, just a bunch of Jimmy Griffin, those guys just playing Pink Floyd songs if that wasn't the show?
I
Right,
would
if
to
it
see
was- if
only
it
to
was
see.
it-
I would to see Jimmy because I love watching.
I
him
love
play.
Jimmy.
If it was
I
at
love
Pops
Mark.
with nothing but the red lights like they used to do.
Which is what I'm talking with my Santana guys is we need to start doing production because right now it's just an 8-piece band on stage.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, okay, we got to start talking about trying to get some. So I get,
Have to.
I get where you're going.
Yeah. I think that's the closest. That right there, if you want to be a successful band, let's say you have 15 songs, and let's say you're young and good looking. And hopefully you're young and good looking. You have good pictures. You guys got iPhones. Of course, you can make your own headshots these days. But the one thing you need to do is you need to turn the lights off. Remember, darkness is the canvas of a lighting director. Turn the lights off. Then light something that speaks to that song and do different scenes and invoke an emotion. Go get gear. It's not that look at PRL. We suck, but we got a lot of lights and a stupid video wall, and we do all kinds of crazy, stupid crap. I think that's been keeping us going for all these years.
Maybe. I mean,
I actually think to come
but you
out-
guys,
I really do think
but you
that.
guys are good players. Don't leave me. I know Mike Hennig. I know you. You guys are great players.
Yeah, but how many times can you see frickin' Freddie Mercury with a funnel in his pants? I mean, seriously.
I need to come out to a PRL show. I haven't been to one yet.
I think that it's the environment. I think that every band that and I'm not saying you're going to become the next big thing, but I think that's one thing that a lot of these bands, they just kind of, whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
As a matter of fact, Shooting Stars guy, our old stage manager, Bad Brad, he passed away not too long ago. I used to look around at the lights because we would open for the big boys, and our light show looked like this. And I'd walk on and say, is there any way we can get like some fog or some lighting? And then my Bad Brad would say, you know what lights are? They're either on or they're off. Shut up. Here's your bass. So some people just don't care about.
yeah. I mean, you're right. We toured with Daughtry. They had a whole lighting thing.
Yeah.
They had shit programmed and everything else.
Yeah. It's a thing.
100%.
Even the Urge. I mean, like the Urge.
The Urge. That's another great example.
They got it set up. Yeah.
Yeah, those guys with the strobe lights and the red lights and orange lights. And
they got so much more now.
Yeah.
Like the video wall. I mean, there was fireworks behind the drummer when he was doing his
it's the
solo.
hidden
It was
secret.
crazy.
It's the secret sauce of a local band. It's an original band to get some notice.
Yep.
I'm telling you guys, it's the mayonnaise on the peanut butter. All right,
Right on.
that's disgusting on the bologna sandwich.
All right. We got to have you back, dude, because
Absolutely.
I didn't even get to anything. We just started rapping, and it was great.
Yeah, you guys started talking music and bass, and
I'm
just
ready.
kinda
I'm
went
ready
on.
for gear talk now.
Right.
We should bring in some basses and
Let's do it.
Yeah.
that'd be good. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up then, right?
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Well,
It's a lot of fun,
I-
and it's the conversation that you got. I'm glad you guys are having because I'm so confused with music right now.
yeah.
I'm so confused.
I,
I don't get it.
you know, music is just music. Like, there's so much of it out there. There's so much of it to consume. I just if it's good, it hits me.
Yeah.
If it's not,
I can't wait to hear your guys' new stuff.
Yeah.
And you guys are one of those bands that is like in the music scene, people do go, man, what the hell's up with those guys? Where do they go?
we're still here.
You know, it's like, where do they go?
It's just, we have a drummer that's in Nashville, and
You guys just need to get back out there, and then when the
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you guys
Give me his phone number. I'll call him.
our singer has 5 kids. 1 just went to college, and 2 are in high school, or 4 in high school.
Yeah.
He's busy constantly running them around. They're almost at the driving age, so things will get a little easier then. But
Yeah.
and then Chris has a kid, and she's going to looking at universities because she's going to be graduating soon in a year or 2. So
at
he's
least
busy.
do one show a year, man.
Well, that's what we're talking about. 1 to 2. I think we're talking about trying to play a show this summer, maybe, and this fall, but we'll see.
Right on.
I'm there.
Me too.
Well, Eric, I appreciate it. Everyone, please check out Platinum Rock Legends. They play around the St. Louis area and they kill it. And it's got a good friend of mine, Mike Hennig, in the band. But we definitely got to have you come back. Do we?
I'll bring Mike back.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
I'll bring Mike back.
We
next
just
time.
scratched the surface of shit.
Yeah.
And that would be cool to have Mike in.
Yeah.
Man, what a great, it went a lot longer than I thought it was going.
Yeah, it did.
Let's get to catering, guys.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about catering.
Right.
Anything you want to say?
No, man. I mean, I can't wait till next time because, I mean, if you'd be willing to come back on, man.
I will
'cause
anytime
this
you
is-
want me. What?
Right on.
Who do you have next
You
week?
better watch it. We might have you be on all the time.
Right.
Fine, I'm
Exactly.
here. I'll be the guy over there just sucking his thumb in the corner. That's what I do every time.
Well, right
No,
on.
definitely.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We appreciate you coming in, man. It was a great pod. Please follow us at all of our socials. This is the Audio Inc. podcast.